All right, so a little excitement at home there. We got cut off from our last video a few minutes ago, so I apologize. So let's just kind of pick up from where we left off. A salesperson receives a 3.5% commission on sales. Should not really be a question mark, it's just a statement. What commission does the person receive for $6,000 in sales? So, anyway, what we have here is part of the whole equals the percent, which is 3.5%, times the whole, which is 6,000. When I take the 3.5% and I move the decimal twice to the left, I end up with 0.035, which is what now I had set up here before we got a slight interruption. 6,000 times 0.035. So what I want to remember here is I want to try to make this as simple as possible. The essential thing that I have going on here is 35 times 6. That's really what's being multiplied together. 6 times 5 is 30. Put the 0 down, carry the 3. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. So I get 210. But I also have 3 zeros here. So it's going to have to be 210 and then another 3 zeros. But then I have 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal in the problem. So I need to have 1, 2, 3 numbers after the decimal in the answer, which means I just end up with 210. And sure enough, 3.5% of 600 is $210. All right, moving right along. Your school raised 135% of its fundraising goal. The school raised 1,215. What was the goal? Well, the whole group was 1,215. That was the whole group, okay? Or essentially, this was, I shouldn't say this was the whole group. This was the part of the group. We don't know what the whole thing was. The whole thing was 100%. So this is the A, the part of the group, 1,215. And that's going to equal the percent, which is 135% times the whole thing. We don't know what the whole thing was yet. We just know what the part was, even though the part is going to be bigger than the whole because it's 135%. Now, if I take 135%, I move the decimal 2 places to the left, like I'm dividing by 100, 1.35, I see that 1.35 times W equals 1,215, which means essentially what I'm doing is I am taking 1 and 35 hundredths and I'm putting that into 1,215. All right? Which means that if I'm going to divide this, I'm moving that 2 places to the right, which means I'm moving that 2 places to the right, and I've got to fill it in with zeros. Now, I'm going to come over here because I don't really have room to do this problem. So I'm just going to come over here, give myself a hard book to write on, and a piece of paper here. And essentially it's going to be, going to come over here, 135 going into 121,500. Now, I can think, well, 135 would round to 100, and I can think of it as a 1. I know that 135 cannot go into 1. I know it cannot go into 12. I know it can't go into 121, but it can go into 1,215. But I'm thinking, well, the number of times that 1 can go into 12 would be the same number of times that 135 could go into 1,215. Well, I know that 1 can't go into 12. I know the 135 can't go into 1,215 12 times. I can't put a 12 up there. So I'm just going to try 135 times 9. Okay? 9 times 5 is 45. Put the 5 down, carry the 4. 9 times 3 is 27. plus 4 is 31. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 3 is 12. Well, look at that. That works out nice. So I put a 9 here. 9 times 135 is 1,215. I know that's going to equal 0, but then I also know that these zeros aren't going to change anything, so I need to put the zeros up there. And that tells me that the school's fundraising goal was $900. All right, our last problem now, we're going to transition up here. We're going to do some more scratch work, but let me go ahead and just scratch this off so we don't get this confused with our last problem for lesson 1.3, or 6.3, I guess. The sales tax on the model rocket is $2.38. The price of the rocket before tax is $34. What is the percent of sales tax? The sales tax on the model rocket is $2.38. The price of the rocket before tax is $34. So this is interesting because we haven't had one that looks like this. If I follow my percent formula, which is part of the whole, which is A, equals the percent times the whole, I've always known the percent. So this one's a little bit different. I know the part of the whole. The part of the whole is $2.38. What I don't know is the percent, and I do know the whole group. That's $34. So essentially, what I'm needing to try to find is what percent of $34 would be $2.38, which means essentially what I'm doing here is I'm taking 34 and I'm putting that into $2.38 because I'm trying to find what that is as a decimal. Okay, and then that'll give me the percent. So 34 cannot go into 2. 34 cannot go into 23. But since the decimal is here, I have to go ahead and put a 0 there. Now I'm saying, well, how many times can 34 go into 238? Well, 34 could round to 30, so I could think about the 3. 3 cannot go into 2, but 3 can go into 23 7 times. So I think that if 3 can go into 23 7 times, I'm going to do 34 times 7, because I think then that 34 can go into 238 about 7 times, give or take. 7 times 4 is 28. Put the 8 down, carry the 2. 7 times 3 is 21, plus the 2 is 23. Well, look at that. $2.38, 238. I get 7. I know that 7 times 34 is 238. That's going to give me 0 when I subtract. And now I have 0.07. But now I have to turn that into a percent by taking the decimal and moving it once, twice to the right. And I get 7. The percent of sales tax, 7%. All right, we'll talk to you later. 7th grade. This is 6.3. Talk to you later. Bye.